Kombucha? Well, how about you kombucha mouth on this day? Hello? Welcome back to Otacook, the show where I'm gonna cook every dish from Food Wars. Now, last month we took care of a non-Soma dish, Ishiki's pepper grilled seer. But we're back to basics. We're doing another Soma dish. This time, we're doing the dish that Soma used against Ishiki, which is his Yukihira-Style Seer fish Chazuke. Now, I learned this between the filming of the last video and this video, but did you know that Seer is mackerel? I didn't know that. Never would have guessed. But anyway, just like last time, I'm going to be subbing out with salmon because I couldn't find actual mackerel fish, fresh or frozen for that matter, and I'm not using the canned stuff again. We already did that once. We're not going back there. Now, this dish doesn't seem like it's going to be too time consuming, but there are a few techniques that I've never done before that I'm going to be interesting to try out. Now, pretty much for this dish, all we're going to need to do is cook our salmon, cook some rice, form into onigiris, and then pour over it with our kombucha, which we're going to heat up. Now, recipes are coming from the special supplement in the manga, and also I'm going to be borrowing from a Chef PK video. Go and check that out in the description. I will be going away from his procedure a little bit, and you'll know when I do. Chef PK does exactly what I do, only way better, and he really commits himself to things. I try to find shortcuts whenever I can, or whatever I think is easier. Alright, let's just get right in. I'm gonna do with the rice off camera, you don't need to see that, and we'll be back on camera when I'm ready to take care of the fish. Alright, so as you can see in the background here, we have our rice going. I did wash it, trust me, I did wash it. And I have a pan here, which is significantly filled with olive oil. Normally I use sesame oil, but the recipe specifically calls out olive oil. And I have just the bottom of the pan filled here because it's what we're going to need when we start cooking our fish. You'll see what I mean. So we're going to take our salmon and we're going to add it skin side down into our pan. Hopefully our pan is hot enough. There we go, hear that sizzle, that's what we want to hear. And I did season the fish with salt and pepper, just to let you know, so like that. Alright, so we're going to cook the fish on the skin side for about 3 minutes. And then after that, we're going to start spooning the oil on top of the flesh of the fish for about 7 minutes. This is what Chef PK did in his video, so I'm taking that from him, even though the supplemental recipe just has us cooking the fish as normal. Which, you should do it this way because that's kind of what Soma talks about in the actual chapter, Ishiki compliments him on his French cooking technique. So, yeah, cook the fish this way, it'll be more authentic. So, when the oil is ready to spoon over, we will be back. That kind of sounded weird. When we're ready to spoon the oil over the fish, then we'll be back. That sounded better. Alright, so it's been about 3 minutes, so now we're going to go ahead and spoon our oil over our fish. Now, I've never done this technique before, but we're going to try it. So we're going to slightly tilt, and we're just going to take our oil and spoon over our fish. Just being very careful not to burn ourselves and not burn the fish as well. So we actually might take it off the heat a little bit to prevent it from burning. I'm just using a large spoon, and that's why I also have this big pan. Ooh, let me show it over the camera here. You can actually see parts of the fish actually becoming white as I do this. Now, I'm not going to show all of this, but I will keep recording. So we'll be back when I am done with this. So yeah, see you then. Alright, so the fish is done. Now I realized two things. One, my fish is actually thicker than what Chef PK was dealing with. And two, I forgot to pat the fish dry with paper towels, like Chef PK said in his video. So definitely recommend doing that. That would be better for you. We'll keep it like that. Doesn't matter. All right. So also the rice is done. So fish is done, rice is done. Now we need to deal with the next element, which is the kombucha, which we're going to pour over our onigiri. Now, Chef PK in his video, he got all fancy on us and he made his own kombucha. The way he did it was he boiled green tea and kombu. Like, kombu is the Japanese word for kelp, or dried kelp, and then ocha, or cha, is tea. So, kombucha is kelp tea. So, that's what that is. But he made his own, and I'm not going to do that, so I bought kombucha. Actually, let me grab it. This. I couldn't find a plain flavor, so I grabbed the ginger lemon. So we're just gonna warm this up and then pour it over our rice balls. So yeah, we'll take care of that right now. All right, so I have our kombucha in the kettle just heating up. I didn't think you'd want to see it, so honestly, I spared you from watching me do that because I don't know if that's going to work out, but we're going to try it anyway. Like I said, Chef PK, he's better than me. I'm doing shortcuts. If this is bad, it's my fault. But anyway, we're going to try to make some onigiri, which I have never formed in my life. And I looked up a video on how to do it, so we're going to try that technique. I think the tea's ready. I have to go take care of that. I've never formed onigiri before, so I looked up a video on how to do it. And this video had this interesting technique. I'll probably link that video in the description as well. So we take two bowls, and we're gonna try to form them together without me making a mess. I haven't made a mess yet in this video, and I'm determined not to do this. So I'm just gonna do them together, and then we're gonna shake it for about 15 seconds, he said. Actually worked. All right, so now, I think the rice might be too warm, but it seems a little better. Let me wet my hands on my work surface, and then we'll try to mold this together. Now I have to clean two bowls. I'm just making more dishes for myself. We're gonna take our little thing, then we're gonna take a little patty. We're gonna form it here. You can see kind of what I'm doing. Alright, so we got our little thing. We're gonna make a little hole here. Oh shoot, this thing is falling apart. Okay. Got a hole made. Now I need to grab our salmon. My hands are a mess because of the rice. This is falling apart. Alright, I cut a piece of salmon. We're gonna kind of break this up with my hands here. This might be too much, but it's fine. Alright, so, this is a disaster. Okay. We're gonna,
I can't understand your accent.
Does this count as a mess on the mess counter? Probably, maybe. Okay, okay, oh, hey. I didn't think what I would do after I got this formed. Oh no, formed might be a not great term for it, because it's just kind of a slop, if you will. What am I gonna do with these? Oh shoot. Am I just gonna like, you know what? I don't have the seaweed cut. I did not plan this well. Alright, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna pray that this holds. I'm gonna put this in this bowl because I only really need the one. Let's be real. I'll probably eat more. Oh no, this is a mess. This is a mess. Yeah, this is definitely a mess in the mess counter. You can tell that I'm losing my mind because I'm not forming coherent sentences. I'm not being a good, entertaining YouTuber right now. I'm just... I have a mound of rice with a little bit of fish inside, and it needs to go in this bowl. Oh, this is not an onigiri. It's fine. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands off. I'm gonna cut up some nori real quick, and then we'll pour some kombucha on top, and then we'll get the final verdicts. This is not the prettiest thing I've ever made. That onigiri fell apart immediately. I did take some B-roll of this one, but if you saw a B-roll of a pretty onigiri earlier in the video, you'll know that I remade this. But yeah, that was very quick. Like, that only took me about an hour, and I was faffing around with lights and cameras and whatnot, so if you try to make this, you can probably make it in a decent amount of time. But anyway, enough stalling, let's go ahead and try this out. Oh, also, I did cut up some nori just in some strips, just to throw on top here. Anyway, without further ado, let's give this a try. Now I can definitely smell the ginger and lemon from the kombucha that I heated up, but let's try this. You know what? That's actually really good. Now, it is just salmon and rice with some lemon and ginger like tea poured over it, but it all goes really well together. The salmon is actually really light, exactly like Soma said in the chapter, by the way. Or I guess Ishiki said that. But anyway, the fish doesn't have like this really fishy taste to it. It's kind of light, not really overbearing. And then the ginger lemon, which I am using because of the kombucha that I got, it's not that bad. I feel like you could also use like green tea. That was another alternative that I was thinking of doing. Just pouring regular old green tea on top of this. But like, the recipe said kombucha, I use kombucha. I don't think they meant what I used, but I mean, hey, I used it. Probably don't recommend you doing that if you want to try it, but it's what I did. So, I'm gonna finish eating the rest of this, and then when I get back, we will talk about a chapter breakdown. So, BRB. Alright, now it is time for the chapter breakdown. This continues off the last chapter, where in the last chapter, Ishiki made his dish for Soma, and then Soma decides to make one for him, and Ishiki seems to enjoy it. And then everybody wakes up, and they all go to their own respective rooms, and they leave Zenji to sleep in his room, and they leave his room a mess. But then when everyone wakes up the next morning, Soma is there, and he challenges Ishiki for his spot on the Council of 10. Ishiki laughs him off, because it is a ridiculous notion. See, this is the part of Food Wars where we actually learn what these shokugekis are. And this is a huge part of the shokugekis, and I love them personally. It makes the whole show feel like Iron Chef, if you've ever seen that show. But we see a big example shokugeki with Erina fighting this sumo wrestler guy, and she makes the ravioli langoustine, which I'm not going to make on Otacook. Unless people want to see me make it, I may make it eventually, but that'll be down the road. I have plans for the next couple Otacooks, so we'll skip that one for now, but we might come back to it. We learn a lot about shokugekis, a lot about the world building in these chapters, and we get like more of the dynamic between the Polar Star dormitory friends. You know, we see everybody leave Zenji sort of on the floor of his dorm. And then, you know, Ishiki, we get more of his personality. Not a lot outside of the shokugekis in this chapter. However, next time, we get Soma's first Shokugeki against a fan favorite character, Ikumi Mito. So definitely make sure you're subscribed so that you see the next episode of Otacook. Tell me how I did in the comments, leave a like, and with that, you're welcome.